when you're an owner of your business, you got to micromanage yourself really hard. Stay on point, stay on focus calendars. I love dealing with people. I love meeting new people, find out what they do for a living. It's a passion of mine. Honesty, our loyalty to people. You don't want to have what they call commission breath. You want to keep people for life.
Anthony, thanks for joining me today on the Brokers Hotseat. It's a pleasure to have you.
Man, it's a pleasure to be here.
Thank you so much. You have your hands in so many lines of business right now. Tell us a little bit about what you're working on at Anthony Hurst Financial Solutions, and what are the focuses as far as growth and expansion go for the future. And you mentioned being solo in the agency right now. What are
Mhm.
some of the biggest challenges that presents to you back and in the agency? What kind of challenges does that present to you?
Well, you have to have a lot of time in your day. Well, when you're an owner of your business, you got to micromanage yourself really hard. Stay on point, stay on focus. Calendars help. My little sister, she helps me a lot. So.
I know with your military background, discipline is probably something that's very important to you. How long did you serve for?
Oh no, sir, no, sir. I did my tour from 1993 through 2001, right before 9/11. I was out. Wanted to go back in at that time, all gung ho about, 9/11, but it didn't work out for me to go back. But definitely it was a great time, awesome time. But as you said, being a young youth coming up in Amarillo, Texas, where I was raised, military was the best thing I ever could have did for myself at that time. Taught me a lot of discipline, grounded me, you know. I think it was a very big part of what I am today.
Perfect, perfect. And I imagine that affects how you view life insurance and how you go about handling your business now.
I've always been a people person. I love dealing with people. I love meeting new people, find out what they do for a living and any any gold nuggets I can get from them. So yeah, military played a big part in that. My faith as well. So, all of that worked out and it helps when you're dealing with people. All right, great. I've been in ministry for quite some time, last at least 12, well over 20 years of my life. But where I'm at right now, I'm at an organization called True Church Christ Divine. My bishop, Bishop, this presiding Bishop, Bishop Benny Pruitt, and his wife, Missionary Pruitt. And so here in Jonesboro, Arkansas, and he's played a major part of my life, keeping me grounded, focused, and in dealing with people. You understand you have to be you have to eat a lot of humble pie, if you know what
Mhm.
that means, dealing with people, because of all parts of life. So that in itself helps a lot dealing with, and when it comes to my business, believe it or not. And I'm an elder in my church, and so I love dealing with community, helping people. It's just a passion of mine.
Yeah, absolutely. And, the more I talk to people in the insurance world, especially the ones who are successful, it's because they view it as helping people. And that's their goal and their objective is to find the best policy, to find the best coverage, and to make sure that people are protected. What are some things that separate you from maybe some other life insurance agents out there, or, or personal lines insurance? What are some things that you're doing that really separate you from the herd and help you stand out to someone who might be looking for a policy?
Right, that's an awesome question. I'm glad you asked it. Matter of fact, that's one of my favorite questions to be asked, and I'm gonna tell you why. So, us here at Anthony Hurst Financial Solutions, one thing we really take to heart is just our honesty, our loyalty to people. There's good and bad in everything that's out here. The agents I will hire in the near future, I want them to be focused on not the money. That's going to happen. You got to be focused on what the needs of the people are. You don't want to have what they call commission breath. You know, you're more concerned about commissions than you are about the needs of people, selling them policies they don't need, giving them premiums they can't afford, which causes chargebacks. So you really want to know, hey, where you at in your life? Do a good analysis of their finances, of what they're going through, because all of that, just getting information that's needed. You know, Most people I want to sell a policy in 15 minutes so I can get to the next. Well, you're going to have some times where you can do that. But there's going to be some times where you got to sit with a person for 30 minutes to 45 minutes, sometimes even an hour, going through medications, health histories, and trying to find something that they're going to be happy with. Because if they're not happy with it, I don't care what you sell. I don't care if you sell a car. I don't care if you're selling gold coins. If they're not happy with it, they're not going to keep it. They're going to get rid of it. And you want to keep people for life. Well, after
Yeah.
I'm long and gone, I want people to remember that this is a place that they can be comfortable at, and they know that we deal with them with loyalty and trust and professionalism.
Yeah, absolutely. I can tell, from our interactions and from, the background that I've looked into that you are a high integrity individual and that, have full confidence that the individuals that you hire over the coming years will follow suit. What are some of the misconceptions out there that people might have about life insurance?
Well, and I'm glad you asked. That's another good question because there's a lot of misinformation. I mean, a lot of stuff you can find on YouTube, telling people they can get car insurance for $20 a month. That's I've sold them many policies I never sold. But I need to know where they finding that at myself. But there's a lot of misinformation. Insurance is a scam, and if that's the case, going to work is a scam. It's not a pyramid scheme and none of that kind of crazy stuff. A lot of people are afraid of life insurance because they feel like, it's a scam, but it's not. Life insurance is important. It's more than just leaving your family with generational wealth or just having a burial insurance policy. You don't want to leave nobody with burdens of trying to, deal with a person's passing, and I'm trying to say it as best I can, but that's what it is, GoFundMe is not a life insurance. You shouldn't have to never do that. That's why I make sure that we have policies that we can help anybody of any type of health situation, whether you're incarcerated, no matter what's going on in your life, we can help you. But the biggest misconception, in my opinion, that people think is a scam, or they say I can't afford it.
Yeah.
Right? There's and sometimes people can't, but I feel like I could find something for anybody. I'm just that confident.
Yeah.
I answered the question.
No, yeah, absolutely. That's a great answer to that. And, I think that's the biggest reason why people come to, Anthony Hurst Financial Services is because, you're dedicated. You'll find that policy that's the right fit for them, regardless of, budgetary restrictions or, just other concerns that they have. Those are things that, again, that level of trust that they have for you, they can trust in you to find that policy that they need.
Right, right.
With your experience in the industry, how has that changed your perspective when looking for a policy for yourself or for family members, whether that's life and health or home and auto? What things have you learned and what do you look for when selecting those policies in your personal life?
Right. My family's very supportive of my business. Even if one thing, especially young insurance agents as they come along, don't get discouraged if your family don't buy from you. It's just what it is. Just be successful, they'll come around. But one thing I can say, my family, my natural family and my church family, not just local, but in general, they'll come to me, they'll ask me questions about policies. They ask me questions. It ain't about whether they buy from me or not. That's irrelevant. What's relevant is education. Educating people on what's the difference between a term and a whole life, or IUL, or final expense, and all that good stuff. Because looking over, sometimes they'll bring me their policies. Hey, could you look at my policy and see, what's what, and I look over their policies, no charging, no crazy stuff like that. Because people just want to be educated. A lot of them.
Yeah, yeah. And that's why they turn to an expert like yourself. And, that's great to hear that you have that community around you. I
Mhm.
imagine, that's only going to grow. And we look forward to hearing that. Last question for you here, Anthony, and it's a two-part one. Try not to get too complicated.
Okay.
First part of it is there anything else that you would like us to know about Anthony Hurst Financial Solutions today? And then second part of it is how can anyone listening to this reach out to you in the future if they're looking for help with, home and auto quotes or life insurance or health insurance? What would be the best way for us to get in contact with you?
First thing, biggest thing I think people should know about Anthony Hurst Financial Solutions, that it's not all about, as I said before, not trying to be a parrot, but it's not all about the money. It's about helping people. I have a lot of services I offer to help people, whether you need counsel when it comes to your insurance policies, looking over policies, or trying to help people in that aspect. Knowing that, you know, we're family built, faith, solid faith bounded. God, without the Lord, I wouldn't be here. Without God, I wouldn't be here. Without Jesus Christ, I wouldn't even exist. Neither would my business. So I'm solid in faith. And where people can get a hold of me at, I'm on Facebook. And you can look at me, Elder Anthony Hurst, Anthony A. Hurst, rather, on Facebook. And you also can find you Google my business on Anthony Hurst, financialsolutions.com. I'm also on Facebook. I'm on Instagram. I think I even have a Twitter account. Not Twitter, but TikTok, LinkedIn, just about every social media that's out there, I'm on it. So definitely you can find me in those spaces, and I'm here to help whoever needs help. I'm not hid. I'm not hiding.
Yeah, yeah. And I have no doubt that after this, you'll have people reaching out to you to hear more, because there are a lot of us out there that align with your values and your integrity, and those are things that we're looking for in agents as we look for policies to protect ourselves and to protect our
Mhm.
loved ones.
Right.
Appreciate everything that you do, appreciate your service, appreciate your continued ministry, and
Thank you.
we
Thanks.
really appreciate you being here today on the Brokers Hot Seat. It's been wonderful getting to know you, and look forward to seeing your continued success as the agency grows.
I appreciate that. Definitely, it's an honor being here. I thank all those that were involved doing this, reaching out to me. It was a surprise to me. I was excited. I mean, I told everybody, so
Yeah.
give all honor to my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. I thank you guys for helping me and being there for me. Allow me even to be here is an honor.
Awesome. The honor is ours. Thank you so much, Anthony, and we appreciate it, and we'll be in touch again soon.
Yes, sir.